Okay, so I'm looking at the stocks on Yahoo Finance. And down in the right hand corner, as you can see, there's this ad. And the ad says, Wanted, single men in the Little Rock area. Okay, so men, now you're looking at your stocks and some cleavage or a set of titties, depending on where you're from. When I see these pictures, though, it just makes me wonder what about this woman is suggesting that she is available for men. Because it seems to me that I see women appearing like this all the time. And so I'm looking at it from head. I started to say from head to toe, but from head to chest, from head to titties, right? So her hair is out and like looks kind of like, she's suggesting, I guess, that she's loose, maybe, right? Because that's what you see when the librarian goes sexy, right? She takes down the hair and starts shaking her hair, right? And then the other thing you see, perhaps, would be the eyes, right? Because the nose and the lips, well, I guess the lips could suggest some things, but normally you're looking at the eyes. So I guess her eyes are saying something. So single men, look at that. And then you have her titties are out. I mean, you can call that cleavage, and so I think that really is the border right there. It's like how much cleavage they show. If they show cleavage, then they're not so racy. But if they show titty, and so that's where you got to be able to try to decipher, what is titty versus cleavage. Because this lady, I think, goes to the titty point. And if you're looking closely, she's got freckles within her cleavage and breast area. So that would tell me that she's no spring chicken. So when you look at this picture and you're a young man and you're going to be invited to possibly screw middle-aged women and maybe beyond, those are the things to look for so you don't get yourself in trouble. Okay, so you look for the hair like that, right? It's got to be down, and it's got to be suggestive, like, hey, I'm just ready to swing an episode, And her eyes, the way she's looking at you, like, hey, hey, look at my breasts, hey, look at my hair, huh? And her eyebrows might be shaved off, and she may have drawn something in there. But anyway, so look at that. And I think, sometimes I've seen women kind of like quiver their lips, to make them seem wanted. And then the other thing is this that you cannot overlook. What is she sitting in or sitting on? A swing. And the swing is suggesting that what? She's a swinger. Huh? And so you have to look at these things to be able to tell when you're wanted by a woman. So look at this picture again now. You've got the hair, the eyes. I guess she could do the bewitched thing maybe and twitch her nose if she really wants to show you that she wants you. Although that might make you think, she thinks you stink or something. I don't know. But anyway, so you got the lips. She can quiver those lips and maybe have some suggestive shiny lipstick or something. Make you think, hey, boy, I might be in for a blowjob, But anyway, here she is. And she's got the cleavage thing. Don't forget the cleavage thing. And I guess that top kind of suggests something soft, like a satin, huh? But the key is how far open the passage is in terms of the cleavage passage, right? And so this is interesting because this is on a mainstream advertisement, Yahoo Finance, right? And so again, I'm coming to look at some stocks, and I see this on the page, and from their dynamics that they use to follow you, I'm not single. They would be able to know that, and I don't go to any kind of site suggesting that I'm looking for women. So this ad is open to just any man. Apparently, they are targeting men. They got that right. But this goes to any man, whether he's old, young, whatever, because they're not looking at those parameters. Apparently, it's just any men who may be looking at stocks. That's what a lot of men have in common. And you have this female being presented like this. And so my question always is I see females, young, old, looking like this all the time. And so I think that this is where men get themselves in trouble, because they go and they look around and say, oh shit, look at her hair. Her hair's down, you know. And she may look at him. She may be looking at him like, what the hell you looking at, you damn perv? But he may interpret that look like, oh, wow, I really want you, single man, you know? And then he looks down her neck and looks down at the cleavage, and she's got her tits out like that. He's saying, hey, there is another sign. And I doubt that he would happen to catch her sitting in a swing, but let's say, for instance, she's sitting on the subway. And he's standing above her because he doesn't have a place to sit down. And so he's holding on to the handrail thing there, and the train is bopping back and forth, and he's looking down. And every time he looks down, there's this lady with the long hair and tits looking back up at him. And so, she's got the eyes that looks up at him. The lips may be quivering, even though that may be because she's scared of this perv looking down at her. But all the signs are there. And so here he is getting this signal like, hey, man, she wants me, man. She wants me, right? But she may be thinking otherwise. But her body, according to these ads, or this particular ad anyway, and I see a lot of them, and it really gives me a mixed message. Because, again, you have some women who want to present themselves like this to say that they're wanted, and they're in need of something. And usually in this case, they're saying single men. So if she's got freckles on her titties, that means she's looking for a younger man who happens to be single, right? Normally, but single nonetheless. And so on the one hand, women don't want to have their bodies suggesting things, but let's face it, this is a still photo, an ad. She can't expound on this, so all we got to go with as men is what they're presenting us, and that is what? I guess the hair must say something, because we're going to be analyzing a picture with our minds, right? So we have to suggest from our experiences that the hair may say something, right? Now, the hair, in this case, looks like hair like after you've banged a chick, right? Look at her hair. Usually it's like that. It may have sweat, you know what I'm saying? But it looks like that. She's suggesting that, hey, real quick, I can be out of this top and expose my titties for you to suck. You know what I'm saying? This is what a man is thinking. And the Yahoo people know that. People may think that, hey, this guy's being vulgar. I'm not being vulgar. This is exactly what they want a man to think when they show this kind of picture. And when a young lady sees it and she goes out presenting herself like this, thinking she's looking cute, some people are looking at that like, hey, baby, I know you want me because look what your body, your image is suggesting. And it sends really mixed messages when you kind of present this stuff. So I'm being facetious in some ways, but really this sends very mixed messages to the male. And it won't stop, obviously, because this is the draw. So it is what it is, but I just wanted to bring this out because I was just going there looking for some stocks, and looking down, I couldn't miss it. It's like, oh, okay, they presenting this bitch here with some titties. And so, yeah, that's what I'm calling her, because she's allowing herself to be exploited in front of millions of men, showing really what amounts to her tits. Her face is decent looking, but most males would probably have more fixation on her breasts. And obviously they would start their imaginations would just wander depending on the man. But anyway, presenting a female like this to me, it just sends mixed messages, and it has a correlation to the rape numbers that we see in this country. But anyway, that's a part of America. I just thought I would bring it out because I thought it was quite funny in some ways. But like everything else, a realism is there too. You know, I think a lot of people always connote sexy with positive. You know, if somebody tells a female, "Oh God, you look sexy," they always look at that as like a compliment, and sometimes it's not. You know, there's a term, as you've heard men use all the time. It's called bang, and sometimes when you look sexy, it just puts the man in the mind of bang. You know, it's not, and I wouldn't suggest for any woman to excuse her husband for infidelity. But I would say that if that did occur, you can best believe, 85% of the time or more, he's not interested in her in terms of the same thing that he brings to your relationship if you are his wife or better half for some years. She is most of the time a bang. And she feels like she's the other woman, but he's just banging her based on her sexiness. Because a lot of times it would be like a younger woman, or perhaps a woman that is maybe more sexy or sexier than his wife. But sexy, for instance, is not good in church. But some people bring sexy to church because someone gave them a compliment. "Oh, you look sexy," and they thought, "Oh, that's good." So no, it's not. Sexy is not necessarily good in parent-teacher conferences and these kinds of things like that. Sometimes sexy is distracting, right? So it just depends on how you interpret that. But a advertisement like this clearly is suggesting sex. As a matter of fact, I would say it's soft porn, right? And I would say that they've pushed their limits as far as they could go in terms of almost exposing her nipple. But I do see a lot of women presenting themselves in the same fashion, and they think that they are really, really presenting themselves in a favorable way. And I'm suggesting that sometimes it's not. Sometimes, like this female here, she is borderline slut looking. And men in general sometimes like that because it suggests to them she's ready to bang. Anyway, there are so many beautiful women, as she is, that don't present themselves like this because they understand the men's mentality in terms of sex. And so they understand that, and they present themselves more conservatively. And it's not that you have to do that, but they understand what type of society they live in. So anyway, as you can see, or as you can hear, I went off on a tangent just from going to yahoofinance.com to check out a couple of stocks. Through no fault of my own, I have been pulled into the world. And that's how advertising works. And believe me, they are saying Yahoo.